Hey, what's happening, guys? Clothier here, and I'm joined by my really good friend, Pat Precourt. What's happening, brother?
No, brother, man. Just enjoying Arizona right now.
Yeah, thank God it's not 150 degrees, right?
Right.
So, guys, if you don't know Pat, Pat is one of my closest friends, a guy that I've known for a very long time, probably one of the most interesting and powerful guys that I know out there, people in general, that has figured out a way to tap into things in his life that have allowed him to coach other people on breaking through, right? Getting rid of some of their own mental BS that's going on in their head, the bullshit that's holding them back, that they can't really figure that out on their own. I know you're passionate about it, right? And it's something that he lives his life by every day. He owns a gym. He's inside the real estate space, does investing, helps our clients, helps our coaching students inside of the academy. He's the director of our entire coaching department. So we're sitting here today at the Extreme Freedom event. We've got a little bit of downtime, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to just kind of chat here for a minute, maybe share some stuff. What are some of the steps you would tell people, the inventory, the audit, the things they have to do to get this in the right place, right?
Sure, yeah. So if we can, let me just bracket this a little,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, let's accept that the model of the world that we experience, the way you live your life, the way I live our life, my life, all that we have physically, emotionally in our bank account are all a function of decisions we've made leading up till now, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to separate your conditions, your circumstances from your actual life. It's not your circumstances, but the decisions you make that get what you want out of life. Is that fair if we start there?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that means, and just for that, I don't want to go too deep in this, but let's just appreciate that we have what we deserve based on decisions we made leading up to now.
Yep.
And the beauty of owning that means that if we have what we deserve based on our previous decisions, means we can have anything we want based on a different set of decisions.
Just make different decisions,
Just
right?
Make different decisions. That's all it takes. And if you think for a second you can do something new that you've never done before and not have hiccups along the way,
you're crazy.
You're sorely mistaken.
Yep.
Which means in order for you to do something new that you haven't done to get a result you've never had, you've got to experience the failures along the way. And if you ask me, you said, Pat, if you can narrow it down to one thing that holds people back, when we give them exactly what to do, how to do it, they know that it's good for them and they still don't do it. What's the one thing holding them back? And I'd say it falls in this category of the fear of failure, because out of that erupts fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of being judged, all of these other micro fears that overwhelm us and just shut us down.
No doubt.
Yeah. So then the question is, how do we overcome that? How do we overcome the fear of failure? And to me, step one is understanding what it really means. Let's undo the improper wiring that we're brought up years and years and years. It's still embedded in school that way.
It's embedded in everything we do. If you think about what happens in society today, media, whatever the case may be, politics, whatever it is, right? Anything you're paying attention to, there's a great deal of power over making people afraid, of keeping them in, and them believing they don't have power to do what they need to do, right? Making them afraid of other things, putting them in a situation where go blame that person, that situation, they're the reason you're not where you want to be. All of that is an instrument of keeping you in a very, very, very weak position, continuing to make you think that you don't have control.
So follow me on this decision making, right? So let's say we want a different result, and that's what we're talking about here. We want a different outcome. Right before a result is an action we take, right? Action, result. Right before an action is a decision to make the action. So if we want a different result, we simply got to change if we want a different result, we got to simply change the decision at that moment. So what affects that? And there's a couple things that happen before that, and this is where we kind of get screwed up, right? Right before that is an emotion or a thought, right? Thoughts drive our decisions. Emotions drive our decisions. We all know as emotions go up, our intelligence goes down. So even sometimes in a conscious state, we're not really being very thoughtful about our decision making. What happens right before that? We call it a label, and a label that we applied to a circumstance. So follow me if you will, okay? The circumstance. You're driving home, you're in traffic. Picture you're home in San Diego, you're trying to get off an exit, big long line of traffic. You're trying to get off the exit, and you get just about to where you're getting off, and some young 21-year-old in this badass character comes ripping on, cuts you off. you label it subconsciously. And many of us would label that as, what a jackass, what an asshole, right? That would be the label we immediately apply without even thinking about it. And that would trigger a thought and an emotion. Get angry, right? And then that would trigger a decision. Maybe flip them the bird, maybe tailgate them, but you gotta get them back, right?
Right.
And that decision creates an action that you follow through on, which creates a result. Now, even if nothing detrimental at that moment in time comes of that incident, right? You're still angry. You walk home, you walk through your house, you walk through the front door, that energy is still in you, negative energy, and immediately radiates through your house, through your wife and your daughters.
It's very true.
Right? And immediately they go to ask you something and immediately changes their tonality. That was just enough off to set you off. Before you know it, the whole family, bam, crashing at each other.
Yep.
You got a result based on a decision, based on a subconscious label off a circumstance. Now watch the exact same event, right? Guy cuts you off. Same event. This is a perfect example of how events do not dictate the model of the world that we experience. Same event. Guy cuts you off. And you're like, he almost hit me. But he didn't. I am officially the luckiest man in the world right now. Woo! You turn up the radio, your hand out the window, you're happy as could be, you slow down, you're like, life for me does not get any better, right? You wave him off. You're in, man. Good. He's like, oh, that guy was kind of cool. Gives you a wave back, right? You drive home, how do you greet your wife and your kids when you walk through the door? And that energy that carries over to them, right? That immediately raises their state. What do you get back from them? You're like, wow, look at the family, the love that carries throughout my house and how they express it to me. Again, I am the luckiest guy in the world. That's the model of your world that you experience based on a decision, a label, a circumstance. But it wasn't a circumstance that's creating the model of the world, it's the decisions you make along the way.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to express in that little example.
Yep.
That kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a product of the decisions you make, ultimately.
Yep.
Right? Which obviously, to your point, kind of leads you down a path. It's almost like there's just a constant fork in the road, right? And so if you want to create a different outcome, one, you immediately have to start holding yourself accountable for the decisions you make and the model of the world that you want out of the world, right? And being passive about it and checked out of it, that's probably an easier way to say it, is a struggle for a lot of people, right? Because they're not used to holding themselves accountable. They're not used to having to think about that. They're not taught to think that. They're taught to be just the opposite of that, right? They're taught to just, again, go blame somebody else. Go look, it's somebody else's fault. You're not where you want to get. But I think it's really important that people clearly understand that these are the things that separate the haves from the have-nots.
Yeah.
Right?
Take that same example we just used, how it works, okay? And let's apply it to opportunity.
Yeah.
You'll love this, right? Because there's people that take advantage of opportunity and those who don't. I just heard you say something about this on stages when you said you step into it, right? And that resonated well with me because there's this idea as opportunity presents itself, there's always a chill that comes along with it. Whenever some opportunity, the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the fear that overwhelms your body, right? And in the boxing world, the martial arts world, and this is expressed very well in a little book called The Flinch, right? A boxer, an experienced boxer, well, let's take this back, a non-experienced boxer, somebody throws a punch at him, their initial response is to step back, right? And all they've done is put themselves at the very end of a deadly punch in its most powerful state, fully extended like this. Whereas an experienced boxer knows better, right? They see the punch, they step into it, and they've collapsed the space, they've taken all the energy out of the punch, and now they're the ones creating and not responding to. Opportunities are exactly the same way. The second you flinch, you step back, that opportunity is gone, passed you by. Whether it's an offer that you saw online that was exactly what you're looking for, but when it showed up, you had a pre-labeling system. Oh, that's just gonna cost me money. It's an expense, not an investment. That's your label. You flinched, gone, right?
Totally.
An opportunity may be at an event, and everything you've been looking for just got presented in front of you, just as you had asked for. But because of the label that, oh, they just try to pitch me at an event, that's the label you subconsciously put on it, you flinched. Step back. And immediately, once you go there and you're out of it and you're now reacting and you're not creating the opportunity of you ever stepping back into it, little to none. It's gonna blow right by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people sit back and why does Kent Clothier have so many opportunities and I don't have any? What's up with that? We all got the same opportunities all the time. It's not the circumstances or decisions that shape the model of the world that you experience.
If you're not present and in that moment and deciding that, to your point, how you're going, as these things come at you, what you're going to do, let me say it a different way. You have to be present enough to clearly understand that those moments will define you either way.
They will. That's a very good way to put it.
Right? It is going to define you one way or the other. If you want a different definition, then you have to take a different action. Anything you want to share with them before we let them go?
With a wake-up mantra that I use every single morning. Just got made a habit of it. I just remind myself, I look right in the mirror like I'm looking at you guys, and I say, Pat, you haven't come this far just to come this far. This has all been training for the next big show. Don't know what it is, but I know there's a next big show, and that's enough to keep me pushing the limits every single day.
Love it, brother. Love it. Thanks for being here, man.
Love being here. Appreciate it.
See you guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.